Hello and welcome to this fifth episode of you watching me start a brand new business using the Ideas to Riches system, the system that we've been talking about for the past 6 weeks. There's been holidays in between, and so there's been some minor interruption, but really the business I'm starting, I've been pressing on with it. Happy New Year to you all. Now, on this episode, what I wanted to do is to actually really go through, first of all, remind you of what the 6 steps are and show you where we are in the fifth episode and show you what I've done in the background, some of which you may have seen if you had visited the Ideas to Riches Facebook or YouTube, excuse me, or YouTube page. So, this episode is a gentle reminder and to basically tell you exactly what the status is. So, we have just one more week for us to have a business using the Ideas to Riches system that we talked about. So, what I thought I would do is I take you to the website to just basically remind you of exactly what it is that the 6 steps are. So this is the Ideas to Riches site. 6 easy steps to convert an idea into a business. And these are the steps. So the first step that we went through, and the video below will remind you. So the first step we went through is to actually turn the idea that I had, to turn it into a value proposition for my potential client. And then we used the idea to do a further definition of exactly what the value is and for whom I'm providing this value. Um, and the third stage, which is really outlining the problem solution fit. Now, this is where it got a bit fuzzy because I was combining that stage, the third stage, with the fourth stage, which is basically creating the first stage, which is validating the value and growth hypothesis. Now, I had explained all of this in previous videos, but I'll just do a quick reminder. So the principle really is that after you have defined the idea, refined the idea into a value proposition, you've identified and you've created a customer avatar. So you know exactly what it is that you know who your customer is and what your idea is doing for them in terms of the value you're providing them. So the very next stage, obviously, is then to begin to think about whether or not there is a problem in the first place, and if there is a problem, is the solution that you have designed solving that problem? So we're then talking about problem solution fit. Um, Now, generally, the principle, the adversary systems, basically um, encourages you to do this in house and then take it out to your potential customer. Have customer engagement, talk to them, and see whether or not this is a problem in the first place, and the solution you've designed for this problem actually works. Now, the stage that follows that is where you validate your value and growth hypothesis. Now, I'll define value and growth hypothesis in a minute, but what I wanted to point out is that that is not what you do inside of your office or in your room. You have to go out to the customer, engage the customer, discuss with the customer potentially what your value hypothesis is and what your growth hypothesis is, and make sure there's some sort of validation that comes through that. Now, what is value hypothesis? Value hypothesis basically is essentially saying that the customer has this particular problem, and I have decided to solve this problem for the customer, and the customers agreed that okay, my solution solves that problem for him or her. So I have effectively transferred value, and I expect to be compensated for that value. So that's my value hypothesis. My growth hypothesis, however, is how the customer behaves after or perhaps during the consumption of the value. So, for instance, if I have a shop, what I expect is or if my growth hypothesis is that a customer comes in, sees the whatever it is that I have on display, loves it, buys it, and then go out to recommend my store to others. So that might be my growth hypothesis. So effectively, I expect one customer to get me an additional, say, 10 customers. So that's my growth hypothesis. This is how my business will grow. Um, Now, in order to validate that assumption or that hypothesis, I really have to go out and engage customers. Now, if you think about it, to find out whether or not there's a problem, and to find out whether or not the solution that I've designed worked, solves the problem for the customer, to validate my value hypothesis and my growth hypothesis, which is all around customer engagement, meaning that I have to go out and engage with a customer. So I collapsed all of that into a 2.5 week activity. And that's why you would have seen some posting, which was customer engagement that I did during in the last 2 or so weeks. So what I want to try and do here is basically to show you what the customer engagement has resulted to, by really focusing on these 3 stages, basically outlining my problem solution fit and validating my value and growth hypothesis. So, and then obviously then creating my minimum viable product. Now, the business I'm starting, as you all know, I'm starting a business for a particular niche. This is the private sector development niche. And I'm creating a TV station, an online TV station, where these professionals can share, peer review, promote, and profile the private sector development sector to a wider audience. So it's an engagement of it's an engagement of these professionals with people that are not in the sector and with some people that are in the sector as well, just debating different school of thoughts. So that's the business I'm creating. So what I would like to do is basically show you what has happened since the last time we did this live show. So I've been busy, and I've been posting some video of my customer engagement. So what I would like to do is basically show you the customer engagement that I've done over the last 2 or so weeks. Now, here we go. So as you can see, as I was describing to you earlier, this is the business. It's called devtv.org, where, as you can see, my strap line, learning by sharing in international development. So this is the business that I've created. This has been registered, but nothing more has been created. It's just the devtv.org has been registered, and some other names related to that has been registered. So this can be a proper business. But before I go on to begin to spend money on it, I need to make sure that I engage with customer and make sure that the customer appreciate what I'm creating, and this is actually useful for them. So you would have seen some of the recordings that I did with some of the customers that I engaged with. So some of them I did a live recording. Some of them, a video recording. Some of them I wrote by text message. Some of them I wrote by Facebook messages, and all of them effectively engaged with me and thought that this was a good idea. And they gave me an opinion of exactly what it is that they expect from this service that will keep bringing them back to consume the service. So as you can see on your screen, so these are the engagement that I did while I was doing my problem solution fit and merged it with um, value and growth hypothesis validation. So if you go to devtv.org Facebook page, you'll see a sample of the customer validation that I did, the people I spoke with, um, the sort of stuff that they shared with me, and how all of that will begin to influence my minimum viable product. So what is my minimum viable product? My minimum viable product. The idea of a minimum viable product is really to create um, a sort of like a reduced feature version of the business, and see whether or not people engage with this business and people begin to exchange value with me on the business, before I then go on to spend a whole lot of money creating the full value feature. And this early engage, I think we talked about this when we were profiling the customers. This early engagement by the customers will really tell me what the full feature of project or product should look like. What is the service? What exactly is it that people really want to see? And that should be all of that feedback should inform the way the full feature of the business works out. So as you can see, I engage people at various points, at various places, some in the office, some, as I said to you earlier, some outside the office, basically to just generally give me an idea of exactly what it is that they expect this business to look like and what they want as far as feature of the business is concerned. So, and it is in that area, it's in this, when I was out talking to people, that I did these three things. Check out the problem solution fit, check out my value hypothesis and my growth hypothesis, effectively validate it. And that's an ongoing process, really. That's an ongoing process that will keep refining. I need to continuously do that so I can keep refining the product to meet the client's or the customer's requirement. And the next stage from that is obviously to create my minimum viable product. And my minimum viable product, as far as this business is concerned, is the Facebook page that I have created, the devtv.org page that I have created. That's the minimum viable product. Obviously, one of the things that will happen in the full feature is to have a site that has devtv.org with the live calls, interviews, resourcing that most of the early customers have been telling me that they want as a full feature service. So this is the extent of the process so far. I've done my problem solution fit. I've tested my value and growth assumptions, and I've created my minimum viable product. But please, you have to realize that this is a continuous loop between the step 3 and step 5, because that continuously encourages me to look for the business model that works for the customer, that works for me, and that will provide the value in the way I want my potential client to have to engage with the business. So this is where we are as far as this process is concerned. You're watching me create my business from scratch in 6 weeks. We are in the 5th week, and I've created a minimum viable product that's on Facebook for now, and I have engaged with it with quite a lot of potential clients, and they've given me an idea of exactly what it is that they want. I am using that to refine the product and get to and hopefully by this time next week we'll launch devtv.org. So thank you very much for watching. If you have any comment, any suggestions, anything at all, please send me a private message, or you can put the comment in the comment box below. So thank you very much for watching, and thank you for coming on this journey with me. It's been thrilling and fulfilling. So thank you very much.